the cursed baseball bat that chose Lou Gehrig as its only master. Lou Gehrig walks into Moretti's antique sports emporium on a rainy Thursday afternoon in March 1927, looking for nothing more than a backup baseball bat, when his eyes lock onto a dark wooden weapon hanging alone in the back corner, seemingly calling to him through some inexplicable magnetic force. What he doesn't know is that this particular bat has been waiting for over 30 years to find its destined owner, carved from sacred Cherokee heartwood and imbued with ancient powers that will either elevate him to legendary status or consume him completely. The choice, according to the Lakota shaman who cursed it in 1896, belongs entirely to the strength of the wielder's warrior spirit. Manhattan's Lower East Side bustles with late afternoon activity as merchants close their shops and workers hurry home through the March drizzle that turns city streets into reflecting mirrors of neon signs and automobile headlights. Moretti's antique sports emporium occupies the ground floor of a narrow brownstone building that has housed various businesses since the 1880s. Its weathered brick facade and hand-painted wooden sign suggesting the kind of establishment where genuine treasures hide among forgotten relics. Inside, the cramped space overflows with sporting memorabilia from decades past, boxing gloves that carried famous fighters to championship victories, football helmets dented by legendary collisions, tennis rackets that dominated Wimbledon courts, and baseball equipment that witnessed some of the greatest moments in America's national pastime. Lou enters seeking a practical solution to a mundane problem. His primary bat, a Louisville Slugger that has served him faithfully through 2 seasons with the Yankees, developed a hairline crack during yesterday's batting practice that threatens to split completely with continued use. Professional baseball players develop intimate relationships with their equipment, particularly bats that feel perfectly balanced in their hands and consistently produce solid contact with pitched baseballs. Finding a replacement that matches the weight, length, and grip characteristics of a favored bat represents a crucial challenge that can affect performance for weeks or months until muscles adapt to different specifications. The shop's proprietor, Giuseppe Moretti, emerges from behind a counter stacked high with dusty cardboard boxes and leather scrapbooks. Giuseppe inherited this business from his father, who established the store in 1903 after immigrating from Naples with a passion for American sports and an eye for valuable memorabilia. The elder Moretti built his reputation by acquiring pieces with fascinating histories, often purchasing entire collections from widows whose deceased husbands had been players, coaches, or devoted fans. Some items carry documentation proving their authenticity and provenance, while others arrive with stories so extraordinary that Giuseppe chooses to believe them despite lacking official verification. Lou explains his need for a backup bat, specifying his preferences for ash wood, 36-inch length, and approximately 32 ounces weight. Giuseppe nods knowingly, having served dozens of professional players over the years, understanding that each athlete possesses unique requirements based on their hitting style, physical dimensions, and personal superstitions. He begins pulling various bats from wooden barrels and wall displays, allowing Lou to examine each option by testing its balance, checking the grain pattern of the wood, and taking practice swings to evaluate how it feels during simulated batting motions. But Lou's attention keeps drifting toward the back corner of the shop, where a single baseball bat hangs in deliberate isolation from other merchandise. The bat appears to be made from extremely dark wood, almost black in color, with grain patterns that seem to shift and flow like liquid when observed from different angles. Its surface shows no manufacturer's markings, team logos, or player signatures, suggesting either extreme age or custom craftsmanship. Most remarkably, the bat seems to generate its own subtle illumination, as if the wood contains phosphorescent properties that create a faint glow visible even in the shop's bright interior lighting. Giuseppe notices Lou's repeated glances toward the mysterious bat and immediately grows uncomfortable, wringing his hands nervously while avoiding direct eye contact with both Lou and the object of his fascination. When Lou directly asks about the unusual piece, Giuseppe's reaction reveals deep reluctance to discuss its history or consider it for sale. He explains that the bat has been in his family's possession for over 30 years, acquired under circumstances so strange that he prefers not to discuss them with customers. Several collectors have offered substantial sums for the piece, but Giuseppe has consistently refused all inquiries, claiming the bat brings misfortune to anyone who attempts to use it for its intended purpose. The story, as Giuseppe reluctantly relates it, begins in 1896, when his father purchased a collection of sporting goods from the estate of Theodore Thunder Mackenzie, a former professional baseball player whose promising career ended abruptly under mysterious circumstances. Mackenzie had commissioned the bat from a Cherokee craftsman in the Oklahoma Territory, requesting that it be carved from heartwood taken from a tree struck by lightning during a sacred tribal ceremony. The craftsman, a medicine man, named Standing Bear, warned Mackenzie that such wood possessed spiritual power that could either amplify a warrior's natural abilities or destroy those lacking the strength to control forces beyond human understanding. Standing Bear carved the bat according to ancient traditions, incorporating symbols and prayers that would bind the weapon's power to its eventual owner while ensuring that only someone with genuine warrior spirit could successfully wield it without suffering consequences. The wood itself came from a massive oak tree that had stood for over 2 centuries on land, considered sacred by multiple Native American tribes, absorbing energy from countless ceremonies, battles, and spiritual gatherings. When lightning struck the tree during a harvest celebration, tribal elders interpreted the event as a sign that the wood was ready to serve a greater purpose in the hands of someone destined for legendary achievements. Mackenzie initially experienced remarkable success with the bat, his batting average improving dramatically, while his power numbers reached levels that established him as one of the most feared hitters in professional baseball. Teammates and opponents alike noted something unusual about his performance, observing that he seemed to anticipate pitched balls with supernatural accuracy and generate power that exceeded his physical capabilities. However, Mackenzie's personality began changing as his success increased, becoming increasingly isolated, suspicious, and obsessed with maintaining exclusive possession of the bat that he credited with transforming his career. The curse manifested when Mackenzie refused to share the bat's power with teammates, who requested opportunities to use it during crucial games. Standing Bear had embedded protective spirits within the wood, specifically to prevent selfish exploitation of its gifts, programming supernatural consequences for anyone who would hoard its power, rather than allowing it to serve the greater good of competitive excellence. Mackenzie's batting skills abandoned him completely during the 1896 World Series, leaving him unable to make contact with even the most basic pitches, while his physical health deteriorated rapidly through a mysterious wasting disease that doctors could neither diagnose nor treat. Giuseppe's father acquired the bat along with Mackenzie's other equipment after the player's death in 1897, unaware of its supernatural history until he attempted to sell it to other professional players. Each potential buyer who took practice swings with the bat experienced immediate misfortune, injuries that ended promising careers, sudden losses of batting skill that destroyed their confidence, or personal tragedies that forced them to abandon baseball entirely. Word spread through the sporting community about the cursed bat, leading Giuseppe's father to withdraw it from active sale, while keeping it as a conversation piece that attracted curious customers without endangering their welfare. But as Lou Gehrig holds the bat for the first time, testing its balance and taking slow practice swings in the cramped confines of the antique shop, something extraordinary occurs. The wood seems to warm in his hands, growing lighter rather than heavier as he adjusts his grip and stance. The mysterious grain patterns stabilize into beautiful swirls that highlight the bat's exceptional craftsmanship rather than creating unsettling visual effects. Most significantly, Giuseppe observes that Lou appears completely comfortable with the weapon, showing none of the nervousness or hesitation that previous customers displayed when handling the cursed object. Standing Bear's spiritual programming recognizes Lou Gehrig as the warrior it has been waiting 3 decades to find. Lou's natural determination, physical courage, and commitment to team success rather than personal glory align perfectly with the protective spirits embedded within the Cherokee heartwood. His approach to baseball emphasizes consistency, reliability, and service to his teammates rather than individual statistics or personal recognition, demonstrating the selfless warrior mentality that Standing Bear required for anyone worthy of wielding the bat's supernatural power. The transaction occurs almost without negotiation. Giuseppe accepting Lou's modest offer with obvious relief at finally transferring responsibility for the mysterious object to someone capable of controlling its influence. He provides no warranty or guarantee regarding the bat's performance, only a warning that Lou must never allow anyone else to use it and must treat it with the respect due to a sacred object rather than ordinary sporting equipment. Giuseppe's final words carry the weight of prophecy. The bat will serve Lou faithfully as long as he remains worthy of its power, but will exact a terrible price if he ever betrays the trust that Standing Bear built into its spiritual foundation. Lou's first game using the cursed bat occurs 3 days later against the Chicago White Sox, and the results exceed even his optimistic expectations. His swing feels effortless, yet generates tremendous power, sending baseballs to distances that surprise teammates and opponents alike. His timing becomes supernaturally precise, allowing him to make solid contact with pitches that previously would have resulted in weak ground balls or harmless flyouts. Most remarkably, he experiences a mental clarity during at-bats that eliminates the doubt and hesitation that occasionally affect even the most confident hitters. The bat's supernatural assistance becomes the foundation for Lou Gehrig's legendary consecutive game streak, providing him with physical and mental advantages that allow him to maintain peak performance regardless of fatigue, minor injuries, or adverse playing conditions. The Cherokee spirits embedded in the heartwood strengthen his natural durability while protecting him from the kind of serious injuries that typically end athletic careers. His batting statistics improve dramatically and remain consistently excellent throughout seasons, when other players experience natural fluctuations in their performance levels. However, the bat's influence extends beyond mere statistical improvement, fundamentally changing Lou's relationship with baseball from profession to sacred calling. He begins experiencing dreams that feature Native American warriors teaching him mental techniques for maintaining focus under pressure and developing the kind of unshakable confidence that enables peak performance during the most crucial moments. These nocturnal lessons complement his natural work ethic and determination, creating a combination of supernatural assistance and human excellence that produces truly legendary achievements. The curse's protective mechanisms ensure that Lou never faces the temptation that destroyed Theodore Mackenzie, as his naturally generous personality makes him eager to help teammates improve their own performance through conventional training methods rather than supernatural shortcuts. He never offers the bat to other players, instinctively understanding that its power belongs exclusively to him, but he freely shares the mental techniques and training insights that the Cherokee spirits teach him during his dream encounters with Standing Bear's warrior ancestors. Years pass before Lou fully understands the price that Standing Bear built into the bat's supernatural programming. The Cherokee medicine man designed the curse to bind its chosen wielder permanently to the weapon's power, creating a symbiotic relationship that enhances the warrior's abilities while ensuring that the bat's spiritual energy remains focused on a single worthy recipient. This binding means that Lou Gehrig can never truly retire from baseball as long as the bat remains in his possession, and that his eventual separation from the weapon will coincide with the end of his life. The bat serves Lou faithfully through his entire career, helping him establish records that will stand for decades while inspiring teammates and fans with demonstrations of consistent excellence that seem to transcend normal human limitations. But when ALS begins affecting his physical capabilities, the supernatural weapon cannot prevent or cure a disease that attacks his nervous system rather than his muscles or bones. The Cherokee spirits recognize that Lou's warrior journey is approaching its destined conclusion, and they begin preparing him for the transition from earthly achievement to spiritual legacy. Lou's final game represents both the end of his consecutive game streak and his farewell to the cursed bat that transformed him from talented player to legendary figure. The weapon returns to its dormant state after Lou's retirement, waiting once again for another warrior worthy of wielding its power while preserving the memory of the Iron Horse, whose character proved strong enough to harness supernatural forces for noble purposes rather than personal gain.